I want to respond to some comments made by a woman regarding my last segment. The segment was titled War with Russia, and it's an important one. If you haven't seen it, you should probably go back and watch it. I'll summarize it real quickly. Basically, the Eastern Bloc countries that were conquered by Germany in World War II and then won over by the Soviet Union in World War II, the Iron Curtain countries, Czechoslovakia, Poland, Hungary, East Germany, and others, those countries had to pay reparations to the Soviet Union because the Soviet Union was one of the victors in World War II. And the Soviet Union was earning money off the commerce of those countries that were under its control. With the dissolution of the Soviet Union in the late 1980s, with the fall of the Berlin Wall, those countries, Hungary, Romania, Czechoslovakia, East Germany, even Austria, those countries were allowed self-determination, self-administration, but in exchange, they still had to pay the reparations for 99 years that were determined at the end of World War II. So those countries earned and had to pay taxes to the Soviet Union. No more Soviet Union, but in exchange, they still had to pay those reparations to Russia. And Russia is due those reparations, but since the Ukraine war, they've been cut off, and Vladimir Putin is not too happy about that, and he's about to do something about it, which could cause World War III. So that's what I said in that segment. And Katerina took exception and felt my facts were wrong, and I'm going to give you the facts, but first let me show her entire post, just so we're clear. Katerina writes, Dick, there is so much wrong information in this one, I don't even know where to start. Soviet Union never acquired lands of the countries you present in the map. The map shows the areas of political influence, green for the West, U.S., red for the East, meaning Soviet Union. They never were part of the Soviet Union. Reparations were to be paid by Germany and her allies from the countries you mention, only Hungary, Romania, and Bulgaria. Poland and Czechoslovakia, on the other hand, were on the other side of the World War II, together with the U.S. and Soviet Union, hence no reparations to Soviet Union. Please look into this and correct the information. People take you seriously, me included, and this is blatantly wrong. Having said that, it is a very bad idea to poke the bear with a sharp stick, as you say. Okay, I'm going to respond to that, and I want to do this in a way that is not mocking or condescending. Like, I'll pretend that Katerina is in the room with me, not just a faceless post on social media. But Katerina, where did you get these notions? Your knowledge of history is severely limited. Did they teach you this at Harvard? Did you go to an Ivy League school, or did you just not learn history? Here are the facts. When the Germans occupied and captured a territory in World War II, the state that existed one day prior to that event suddenly ceased to exist. This includes Poland and Czechoslovakia. Now, the Soviet Union occupied conquered territories of the German Reich. And when the Soviet Army conquered these places from the Germans, these territories became occupied by the Soviet Army. Did you never hear of the term the Iron Curtain? The legal basis for reparations of the conquered territories are governed under the The Hague Land Warfare Rules and the Geneva Conventions. Borders were moved, new jurisdictions were created. Now, in the Eastern Bloc, you saw the military rule through military regimes, like in Yugoslavia and in Poland, or through dictatorship in Romania, or they had central committees in the case of the German Democratic Republic, Czechoslovakia, Hungary, and Bulgaria. And then when the Berlin Wall fell, when the Russians released these countries into self-administration under maritime admiralty law, these countries merged, separated, or formed into democratic republics. So in exchange for the right to self-determination, these countries now paid their dues to the Russian Federation. That is what is being stolen today and siphoned off to give to Ukraine. Honey, I lived through the Cold War. I remember those times. To say that Poland was not occupied by the Soviet Union, to say that Czechoslovakia was not occupied by the Soviet Union, of course they were. Of course they were. I would invite you, Katerina, if you contact our people at futureforecastinggroup.com, there's a contact us button there. Send us your information. I'll send you a book by James Michener titled The Bridge at Andau. This is a wonderful chronicling of the Hungarian Revolution of 1956. It's a really good book that personalizes the Soviet occupation and what those heroic people went through. Look up who was Lech Walesa in Poland. Have you heard of him? Do you know the history of that? Or join our site, futureforecastinggroup.com. We'll get you a special membership, Katerina, and I'll let you talk to someone whose family lived in Czechoslovakia and was evicted from their estate by the Soviet occupiers in 1968. I guess people today have no sense of history. To say that all these things didn't exist, yes, the Soviet Union occupied Eastern Europe at the end of World War II, for which under land warfare rules they got reparations. With the conflict in Ukraine, that taxes that the Soviet Union was legally owed were cut off, and they're being funneled to Ukraine, and this could cause World War III.